Oh my god! Ah! She's getting water everywhere. On the 13th, I was greeted by a visitor, and I wasn't expecting anything living in my tank, so it was quite a shock. I really didn't want snails, but I did take a gamble by not buying tissue cultured plants, so we're here, and if it survives, it's a trooper. My Salvinia minima also came in today, and I did end up throwing out a good portion of them because they actually sent me so many, but also because there were a number of aphids I did not want to deal with. These plants are super great at absorbing toxic ammonia, so we should be well on our way to getting shrimp. Hopefully soon, but likely not. We'll probably have a few weeks still. But for the first time, the cats noticed something larger and floating and moving in the tank, so they were super interested. It was very cute to see. The eighth day of cycling, I found some more significant and visible changes, whether it was larger plants dying or these black looking mold spots on my tank walls, as well as some yellowing water. I decided that it was time for a water change, but before I change the water, I always test the parameters. But before that, we're just going to remove some of the dead plants that are releasing negativity to this tank. Also spotted yet another snail that makes two spotted, and they are so tiny. It's actually quite hard to take a video of them because they're teeny tiny. Maybe a grain of rice would be their equivalent. In terms of my water parameters, my ammonia finally started going down for the first time, which is exciting, and I would like to think that the Salvinia minima was kind of contributing to that, but that is just one step closer to having more shrimpies. I know in general it's good to have algae blooms in cycling tanks, but I really didn't want to deal with it and give snails an infinite food source, so I cleaned the glass and changed out the water. I do believe snails compete with shrimp for food sources, and these snails are low key going ham on my tank, so I do have my concerns. Later on, I do find like seven, so I don't know what to do. As I do this water change, I want to talk about a really interesting product from Aquarium Co-op which I purchased that is just bottled bacteria. Established tanks have a lot of crucial and important, amazing bacteria, so they bottle that up, liquid and biomedia, and send it over to speed up cycling tanks. Normally, if you have friends in this hobby, they can just give you some of the biomedia to share, but I'm kind of alone here. Anyways, I put some inside my filter as well as temporarily on the substrate floor because I can't add more into my filter yet, but they kind of just look like toilet rolls on the bottom of my tank. Kind of looks a little strange, but I'll be adding it in later. The first snail I spotted grew so much bigger in a matter of days, and it has a really funny mouth, in my opinion. At this point, I've just been testing my water every other day just to ensure everything is progressing. Umi here was watching the Salvinia minima get dunked by the flow of the water filter, and she really loved it. But I didn't realize that the plants will die if they keep on getting submerged like that, so I did later set up a temporary DIY zip tie fence around the water flow just so that the floating plants would stay at a distance. I also noticed these things that look like microscopic IUDs to me, but I think they're copepods. They're beneficial microorganisms, and I think they came from the bottled bacteria. Super hard to record them because they're even smaller than a grain of rice. They're literally like a dust speck. Finally, the last bit of my plants came, and let me tell you, these were a struggle to work with. I glued and tied the Christmas moss super ugly to smaller rocks I had. I think later, when they naturally attach to the rock, I can cut off and remove the string. But in the process, I super glued my fingers and probably spent around 30 minutes trying to figure out how to use all these moss in a non ugly way in my tank. Moss is apparently really good for shrimp. This tank is half things I love and half things shrimp really like. But putting the moss in was a mess, and the hornwort was even a bigger mess. I didn't even record that because I was so stressed trying to get that in and get all the needles out of the water. No! Hopefully, by the next time I see you guys, it will be time to be putting in some shrimp and we can watch them together. Till then, take care of yourselves.